Welcome back, and we are going to talk about function combination and just kind of go through the evaluation process as well. So there is a little bit to do in this section. We have to talk about function combination and also function composition, so those will be in the later videos. But we want to be able to perform operations with functions, and you can see the different videos. So far we've talked about function notation, so we're just going to use it in a little bit of a different way. We've looked at one function family, linear functions, function transformation, properties of function, piecewise functions, right? We've done a lot of this. And so now we want to say, okay, well, what else can we do with functions? And that's where we say, okay, well, we have a single function, but we can actually think of within that single function as there being multiple functions. And then we just have to think a little bit carefully through the domain, which is in the next video. But we can add, subtract, multiply, divide functions just as we can with numbers. It just looks a little different. Okay, so when we do that, the notation you're going to see is a little odd. You can see it's down here. So instead of writing like f of x plus g of x, we're going to write f plus g in parentheses of x. And that's just a shorthand notation rather than having, well, so many parentheses, and that actually comes into play when we have more than two. Right now, we have the same number of parentheses, but I digress. Fg of x, pay attention to this one. You're going to want to maybe get the notation confused with something that we see later on, so just be aware of that. Okay, so here are some examples. I'm going to do the first one, and then I'm going to have you pause the video and do the other two. So when we write m plus p in parentheses of 1, what we're really saying is we have m of 1 plus p of 1, and that's consistent with our notation above, right? So right there. Okay, so then, okay, m of 1, we know how to do this. This evaluates to -1, and p of 1 evaluates to 4. And so then at the end, we get 3. Huh, that's not too bad. Okay, now I want you to pause the video, try these next two, and resume when you're ready. And here are the answers, or here's what I got at least. So when I evaluated m of 3, I got 3, and then n of 3, I got, that should be a -1. Nope, that's positive 1. So, yep, 3. And then m over, or p over m of y, here we go. Yeah, there's y's. This last step, from here to here, since you are canceling out a y, you technically need to make sure you're not canceling out something that is 0 over 0, so that's just, I included that because if y were to be 0, that cancellation would make us divide by 0, so that's not good. Okay, so there we go. Another way to look at function combination is through a graph. Now this one looks a little weird, but it says, okay, so it says f is given in red, so I'm just going to make this note so I can see it later, and g is in blue, okay, and I want to find each one of these. Well, okay, so this is f of -1 minus g of -1. Okay, so then I need to look at -1 here. Oh, well, okay, you get the idea. Okay, let's just maybe make a better, okay, that's still not a better line. There we go. Okay, so f of -1, that looks to be about -1/2. I'm estimating here, or sorry, positive 1/2. Okay, and then g of -1, I get -1. Okay, so then I get 3 over 2. Yeah? Okay. And then when I do fg of 3, okay, so this is f of 3 times g of 3. So I'm really just using the graph for each one of these. And so g of 3, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so f of 3, it looks to be about, oh, I don't know, let's call that -3 over 2. And I had to remember my parentheses. G of 3, that looks like -1, so I end up with 3 over 2. Okay, that's fun. And then g over f, okay, I have 0, so g of, so I don't know, what do we call that? Like 1.75, so that's 7/4 negative. And then I want to divide that, so that's g of 0, f of 0, this is undefined. Okay, so know that when you're doing function combination, you could have a purely algebraic representation, right? You could have a graphical representation. We could even throw something in a table at you, and that would just be doing the exact same idea as what we did up here. So like find m of 1, okay, use the table, find p of 1, use the table, add them together, okay? So be on the lookout for any of these three forms with function combination.